Her husband left her broke and pregnant. 18 years later, the daughter he never wanted walked into his boardroom holding the pen that would erase his empire. It all started in New Haven, Connecticut, back when Ivy League courtyards still smelled like fallen leaves and ambition. Daniel Prescott was the golden boy heir to a real estate dynasty, blue-eyed, arrogant, every professor's favorite. He had money charm and the kind of confidence that came from never hearing the word no. And then there was Lila Carter, scholarship kid from Detroit, sharp-tongued, fierce heart, and the kind of brilliance you couldn't buy. He noticed her one afternoon while she was tearing apart three classmates in a debate about ethics in business. Her words were fire, her presence undeniable. Daniel had dated plenty of women who looked perfect in family portraits, but none who made him feel alive. Lila did. For weeks he lingered pretending not to watch, until he finally worked up the nerve to sit down beside her in the library. "You're Daniel Prescott," she said flatly, pushing her glasses up her nose. "Your family owns half this city." "Guilty." He smiled, awkward for the first time in his life. "And you're Lila Carter," he added. "You're going to change how business thinks about responsibility." She raised an eyebrow. That's a bold claim for a stranger. That night they talked for 4 hours, wandering across the yard under starlight, laughing, confessing, daring. It was reckless, messy, intoxicating. He knew his family would hate it. She knew she was walking into fire. They kissed anyway. Against every warning, every threat, they fell. Daniel brought her home for Thanksgiving and the room froze. His mother leaned over the silver dessert tray and hissed, "You're embarrassing this family." "No, Mother," he said loud enough for everyone to hear. "You are, because you can't see the worth of the woman I love." The table went silent. His father's jaw clenched. Lila's hand trembled in his, but she never looked away. They married in a chapel with peeling paint, surrounded by friends who believed in love, not money. She wore a dress that cost less than his mother's shoes, but when she walked down the aisle, Daniel cried like he'd never seen anything so beautiful. They built their little home, planned big dreams, whispered about the future. And when Lila told him she was pregnant, Daniel swore he'd be the best father in the world. But fate doesn't honor promises. His father died suddenly, and 3 days later, Daniel was sitting in a mahogany-paneled office, listening to the family lawyer read a will that sounded like a curse. "To my son, I leave everything, provided he divorces his current wife within 30 days. The words hit like a gunshot. $500 million, an empire built over generations. All if he walked away from Lila and their unborn child. Refuse, and everything vanished. He raged, he begged, he told her love mattered more. But at night he lay awake, staring at the ceiling visions of private jets and power clawing at him. His mother whispered poison. She trapped you. That baby may not even be yours. Doubt ate at him like rust. By the 30th day, Lila was in labor, screaming for the man who had sworn to protect her. And where was Daniel standing in a courthouse hallway signing divorce papers while his daughter fought her way into the world? Hours later, he walked into her hospital room with a lawyer and a notary, eyes cold, voice sharper than glass. "I'm divorcing you," he said. "Daniel, I just gave birth our daughter." He laughed bitterly. "How do I even know she's mine? Did you really think I could love someone like you? You were a bet, a game, nothing." And then, as if rehearsed, Cassandra, his blonde childhood fiancée, stepped through the doorway, diamonds sparkling on her finger. "Congratulations on the baby," she cooed. "Daniel and I are getting married next week." Lila clutched her newborn tighter, tears burning down her cheeks. "You can't mean this." Daniel leaned close, his voice a knife. "Sign the papers. Go back to Detroit. You and that child are nothing to me. He left with $500 million. She left with a baby and $47. The shelter smelled like bleach and hopelessness, but it was the only roof she could find. Lila rocked her crying infant through sleepless nights, whispering, "I'm sorry, baby girl. We'll find better. I promise." She worked night shifts at a greasy diner, studied business journals on her breaks, and swallowed humiliation from welfare officers who didn't believe she had a Harvard degree. One night she overheard young executives bungling their way through a marketing plan. Without thinking, she offered a simple correction. They laughed. But one woman, Jennifer Lee, stayed behind and asked, "Where did you learn that?" "Harvard," Lila said. Jennifer handed her a card. "Call me." That card was the crack in the door. Soon, she was consulting part-time scribbling strategies while her daughter Maya colored beside her. By 6 years old, Maya was raising her hand in boardrooms, asking questions executives couldn't answer. Lila used to smile and say, "Meet my business partner." Years passed. Lila built a firm from scratch, Smith & Lee Strategies, turning pennies into millions. Maya grew into a prodigy, sharp as a blade, fearless in every room. While Daniel squandered his inheritance, drowning in vanity projects and bad deals, the mother and daughter he abandoned were quietly building an empire. 18 years after that night in the hospital, the trap finally closed. The boardroom was packed with cameras, lawyers, executives. Broadway Global was on the verge of collapse, desperate for a buyout. The doors opened, and in walked Maya Carter, every inch a corporate queen in a tailored suit. Behind her came Lila, radiant, unbending, the scars of betrayal polished into armor, Daniel's face drained of color. "No, it can't be." "Hello, Daniel." Lila said, her smile colder than ice. "Been a long time." And then Maya's voice cut through the room. "Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce myself. I am Maya Carter, the daughter Daniel Prescott abandoned before I was even born. And today, I am here to buy everything he chose over me." The room exploded with whispers, cameras flashing like lightning. Daniel staggered, gripping the table. "Maya, you could have told me." She didn't flinch. "Every contract I won, every client I stole, every employee I poached, I did it to destroy you. We named our first AI system Karma. Guess who it's been dismantling one algorithm at a time?" "You planned this," he gasped. "Since the day you left us bleeding in that hospital," she said, her smile sharp enough to cut steel. His hands shook over the papers. "This is extortion. This is justice," she replied. "Sign or watch it all collapse by bankruptcy. Either way, you lose. But this way, you get to keep a fraction and your dignity. Maybe." Lila's voice rang clear for the first time. "Sign the papers, Daniel, and disappear, just like you did 20 years ago." With cameras recording every second, Daniel signed away the empire his father had built. Piece by piece, it transferred to the daughter he had rejected. When the last signature dried, Maya stood. "Ladies and gentlemen, Prescott Global is no more. Carter Strategies now owns everything." She turned to him, voice icy. "Security will escort you out. You have 30 minutes to clear your office." He looked at her desperately. "I did love your mother. Once." Maya didn't blink. Once wasn't enough. Security dragged him away while the women he'd discarded stood tall victors, survivors, queens in their own right. And here's the part that divides people. After the cameras left, Maya went to his office alone. She told him, "You know what the real tragedy is. If you had chosen us, instead of the money, we could have built something unstoppable together. Instead, you chose dollars over family. And now, you're just another man with a check and no one to share it with." She walked out without looking back. Now, tell me, what do you think? Did Daniel get what he deserved, or should a father always be given a second chance no matter how cruel his past? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I know this one will spark some fire. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because stories like this, they make us all question what really matters in the end.